$140. Buy it or ban it? Let's find out. Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video I'm going to do a review of the Oban 18-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. But before I get into this, here are my notes. The Oban 18-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey is produced in the town of Oban on the west side of Scotland. The distillery is owned by Diageo. It's aged in 100% ex-bourbon American white oak cask, bottled at 43% alcohol by volume, and sells for anywhere between $140 and $150 in my neighborhood. So the distillery is in the town of Oban, right there at the port in the town of Oban. And from the port, you could actually take a ferry to go over to Tobermory. When I visited there, I was on my way to Islay with a group, and so we passed through Oban as we went down the coast to catch a ferry. Really nice whiskey. It's sort of, I would say, a foot in the door, an entryway into peated whiskeys. Don't know what the ppm is. I would guess somewhere probably around 10 to 12%. So it has a slight ashy character, also a little bit of chocolate, but it has some real nice citrus notes. It's almost like a chocolate covered orange. Definitely has some vanilla cream, a little bit of spice, perhaps baking spices, and that saltiness kicks in. On the palate, medium bodied. Pretty much what you get up front and in the middle and in the finish is the same. It doesn't have a whole lot of development. Chocolate covered oranges, just a little bit of spice, just a whiff of smoke, a little bit of the baking spices there, and what lingers is sort of the chocolate note with just a whiff of smoke. I would say slightly silky, medium bodied, and it's just sort of a nice entryway, almost I would say beginner's whiskey, which is what makes it a challenge for me. If you've had perhaps one of the other younger Obans, or the non-age statement Oban, the Oban 14, or you might right now actually be able to grab a special deal on the Game of Thrones Obans. It doesn't seem necessarily a huge step up from the other whiskeys in their core range. The core range of Oban is actually quite short. If you visit the distillery, I tasted a distillery exclusive there, and it was okay, it was good, but wasn't necessarily anything to say that you just had to take home. For the bang for the buck, I actually think the best Oban whiskey is actually the 14-year-old in terms of quality price ratio. This is a nice whiskey. I like it, I enjoy it. If someone gave it to me, I wouldn't be disappointed, but I don't think this is a whiskey for over $100. I can easily name you a lot of whiskeys of this character, right, that are under $100, that would be a lot better. Let's just go over to Islay, right? In terms of the intensity of the peat and that kind of a character, you know, I would go for an Ardbeg 10, try a Lechic 10, even go for the Oban 14, or go for a Talisker 10 with a little bit of the added pepper note. So, would I spend $140, $150 on this again? Nah, I wouldn't recommend doing it. It's not a bad whiskey, it's a good whiskey. I just think it's overpriced. It's not really delivering what you want. If you want an absolutely superb 18-year-old that'll absolutely blow your socks off, that is sort of in the ballpark on this price, I'm going to highly recommend the Talisker 18-year-old. Recently reviewed it. Potentially one of my top 10 for 2021. An absolutely superb whiskey. So, it's a nice whiskey. The Oban 18 is a nice whiskey. It's good whiskey. I just don't think it's worth the amount of money that it's selling for. Well, would I give it in terms of a score? I'm going to go like probably in the 87, 88 point range. Right about there. So, alrighty. If you like watching my videos, but you're not yet subscribed, but actually subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I go live or post a new video. And if you are one of my Patreons, I want to thank you very much. Alright, until next time, cheers.